how to actually stay motivated when you create your games.
In this video, we will talk about how to stay motivated while creating your indie game and why is it so difficult.
But first, let's get cozy.
Let's face it, creating a game is very difficult. I mean, you have to create from programming, code, art, game design, music design, level design, everything. And it may be tiring. Maybe your area is style, 2D pixel style, and you suddenly need to create programming if you want a game.
Yeah, and you kind of get stuck with a bunch of tasks that you might not really like doing. That's why it's so awesome to be a game developer. What's most common is that you start off with a bunch of motivation and excitement to create a game, and then that runs out because motivation is not reliable. Yeah, we're humans after all, and it's not sustainable to work only based on inspiration and passion. What really helps is discipline and having clear goals. But that also means that you have to show up and do the work even when you don't feel like it.
One thing that people usually do to stay motivated and to stay on track is to do 1% better every day. In case you haven't read Atomic Habits, it's a great read, and it says that you shouldn't do big steps when developing something, but super small steps that with time they are meaningful, and every day you just perfection yourself, and in the end you don't even realize that you added up to yourself. And that's a way to stay healthy while creating something. Even though you lose motivation, you know that today I need to do my 1%.
Next thing that can help when you want to create a game or any project for that matter is using the SMART principle. That means that you create a goal that's specific,
Measurable,
achievable,
relevant,
and time-bound. Let's just make an example for a SMART goal. You want to be able to make 10 pull-ups by the end of May. Specific, you want 10 pull-ups by the end of May. You have the timely, and you know that it's relevant for you because it means progress in your physical state. That's how straightforward it can be. It can also be much longer, but the idea is this creates a very clear view on what you want to achieve. What really helps in this is also to break it down into smaller milestones. That means if we go back to the pull-up part, you can say by the end of April you want to have the ability to make 3 pull-ups, which is still great progress. And by the end of May, it might be even possible to reach 10.
And if you translate this to game development, you set your small goal for the release of the game, which can be by the end of October, for instance, and then every month you have a milestone. By the end of March, I want to have opened the Unity project and create a player movement. By the end of April, I want to add my first level design. And then you go into specific, how can I achieve this level design? Oh, I need art. Oh, I need coding. I need a theme.
And then you just go through a quick depression in which you realize that this is almost impossible.
I mean, the reality is that game development is something very difficult, and many people take it for granted because in the end of the day, they play your games and they say, I like it or I don't like it. They don't think of the work put behind the game because it's not their job to think about this.
Another great way to stay motivated is to see actual progress in what you do. So once you have your to-do list for the day and you want a final thing to get to in the end of the day, you see menu coming to life or bringing in some assets, but seeing how the project grows and develops is very rewarding and gets you believing that you're doing something in the right direction.
Yeah, another thing is knowing exactly what you like doing in game development and leverage that. But always be aware that you will need to add more work into it. You like art. Awesome, but in the end you will still need to integrate it in Unity and animate it, bring it to life, and maybe code it, add some interactions with the object.
Now for the ones that have been sticking around for a while in the game dev community and have their bigger projects, what can very easily happen is when you work on a project for a long time, your skills during the time that you work on it will inevitably evolve and grow. And once you look back at the beginning, the things that you started with, basically the foundation of the game, you will not know what you did there because the code might be chaotic. You might have used very complex things. And frankly, you might not know how to adjust or change anything about it. I mean, that is a mood kill. How are you supposed to make your product better when you cannot affect the foundation? What he does is when he works and when he codes, he leaves comments in his code to remind him of what he did there, how he thought it through, and either way, I mean, optimizing your code and making it more efficient to adapt in the end is so good. But that can be very hard being at the beginning, because you will just try and put it down and then pray that it works. And if it works, do not touch it.
And another thing is use tool tips. This is just a quick disclaimer. If you don't want to open the script you created, for instance, in Unity, add this tooltip and you can see when you hover over the script what it does. It's very helpful to stay organized, and even though it doesn't really motivate you, it will help you on the long run, because we covered the fact that motivation can fade away because emotions are finite. But if from the beginning you put just a little bit more effort, for instance, what she does is she creates folders for all the assets. She has folders for cats, for animated cats, for pose, UI, UX. After a month, when you come back to the game, maybe, because life happens, you see, oh, I have these folders. What did I want to do now? I was stuck at this bush. I was stuck at this level. And it's helpful to always have a structure of folders there. And I'm very glad that she does this for me, because I open Unity and iCloud where she puts all the assets, and I see it's everything structured as I wanted.
Quick shout out to the hammering of the keys when you want to save something.
Give stuff clear names. It will help you. Don't spam your
Do
keyboard.
not save them in desktop. Do not save them in desktop, because you will lose them. Give them folders, give them names, and don't just stamp something down because you want to be rid of it.
Yeah.
I promise. And that final file that you have is not good. It will confuse you. Another thing that inevitably happens when you work on a bigger project is that you will get your inspiration sparked by other stuff. And it won't always work with what you're working at the moment, and you would still like to try it out. And that's when game jams come in handy, or generally smaller projects where you just test a new skill or see if it works. And that is generally really recommended. Like if you do something similar to what your bigger project is about, then you can try new things, like creating a leaderboard for the first time in that smaller one. So you know that you don't f anything up, you do not lose any important data, you check it there, you test it, you do what you need to do, and then when you like it, and if you really think that would help your bigger project, you bring it in after having it tested. And it just is such a safety net.
Hey, if you like this type of videos, please like, share, and comment down how do you deal with not losing motivation during your indie game. Another thing to stay motivated is to be held accountable for your product, meaning you can announce somebody in advance that you will launch a game and they will wait for it eagerly, so that will motivate you, maybe stressfully, to work on the game.
Yeah, and especially finding people and friends around you that are interested in the same things will just keep you going, because you see that everyone struggles with the same things and everyone also feels progress in their own way. And just being in a community generally just helps with feeling like, oh, this makes sense. People appreciate what I do and I appreciate what they do, and the inspiration that comes for that is really, really nice to have. The game development industry is a hard one. I mean, you're a one-man show most of the time, and creating things alone generally is challenging. Basically, 75% of people that create their first game also leaves it at that. If you want to check out the second game that we're working on, it's Find Eden. We created the demo for that some time ago, and we invite you to check it out.
All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching our video. It means a lot to us that you stick till the end to watch this. In case you have any questions for us, please leave them down in the comments. Also, you can join our Discord server where we can start talking about indie games and maybe give each other feedback on our games and help us stay motivated.
And for the ones that are still here, here is your reward. Bloopers!
Bloopers! But before bloopers, Ferb is greeting you.
Yes, he's not been around here for a while.
Hey Ferb!
Okay.
This was awesome. Video games are supposed to be entertaining and entertaining.
Wow, we did 3 good videos.
Da!